It has taken her 2.5 years to get to this point, cost her 7 cabinet ministers before today, and who knows the personal toll. But tonight, after more than 5 hours of cabinet discussion, the Prime Minister was able to declare this.
The cabinet has just had a long, detailed and impassioned debate on the draft withdrawal agreement and the outline political declaration on our future relationship with the European Union. I firmly believe that the draft withdrawal agreement was the best that could be negotiated, and it was for the Cabinet to decide whether to move on in the talks. The choices before us were difficult, particularly in relation to the Northern Ireland backstop. But the collective decision of Cabinet was that the government should agree the draft withdrawal agreement and the outline political declaration. This is a decisive step which enables us to move on and finalise the deal in the days ahead. These decisions were not taken lightly, but I believe it is a decision that is firmly in the national interest. When you strip away the detail, the choice before us is clear. This deal, which delivers on the vote of the referendum, which brings back control of our money, laws and borders, ends free movement, protects jobs, security and our union, or leave with no deal or no Brexit at all. I know that there will be difficult days ahead. This is a decision which will come under intense scrutiny, and that is entirely as it should be and entirely understandable. But the choice was this deal, which enables us to take back control and to build a brighter future for our country, or going back to square one, with more division, more uncertainty, and a failure to deliver on the referendum. But if I may end by just saying this, I believe that what I owe to this country is to take decisions that are in the national interest. And I firmly believe, with my head and my heart, that this is a decision which is in the best interests of our entire United Kingdom.
Has anyone resigned, Prime Minister?
There were clearly disagreements behind this door, but as her ministers emerged, none announced their resignation yet.
Are you resigning, Mr. Fox? How about you, Mr. Hunt? You resigning?
And some underlined the decision was not unanimous.
Collective agreement, and the Prime Minister has made a statement. Thank you.
We have to be full and frank in that discussion. People have to set out their views, their opinions, but of course we're all bound by Cabinet collective responsibility, and the Cabinet decision was to move on to the next stage of deliberations.
But some of her Brexiter backbenchers have already moved into action, with some writing letters attempting to trigger a vote of no confidence in the Prime Minister. We are hearing of letters going in today. Do you know of that happening?
People have mentioned to me that they are thinking of writing letters, but I don't know how many have, and I don't know whether people who've mentioned it to me have then gone on to write letters.
Have you done so yourself?
No, I have not written a letter.
Do you intend to do so?
I have no intention to do so tonight.
Ominous for a Prime Minister who still has to get her deal through Parliament.
It is going to be close. And again, I think it's going to be impassioned. I hope there'll be sufficient days that people are able to have their say on behalf of their constituents. I still think there's every chance that the deal will get through Parliament, and actually I hope in the national interest that is what happens, but of course we've got to see what the Prime Minister says to us tomorrow morning.
The text of the withdrawal agreement with the EU has now been published, outlining agreements on protecting citizens' rights, an implementation period until the end of 2020, and the £39 billion in divorce payments the UK will have to pay to leave the EU. As for avoiding a hard border in Northern Ireland if a future trade deal doesn't achieve that, 2 options are outlined. Either the implementation period could be extended, but only once and with no fixed date set yet. Or a new UK-wide backstop could be brought in, which would see the whole of the UK remaining in a customs union with the EU. Tonight, the Prime Minister left Downing Street to attempt to get the DUP, who the government relies on for votes, on side. Earlier, the signs were not promising.
On many, many occasions, she has stood up in this very place and said that she will not break up the United Kingdom. There will be no difference between Northern Ireland and the rest of the United Kingdom. If she decides to go against all of that, then there will be consequences. Of course there will be consequences. And we could not, as unionists, support a deal that broke up the United Kingdom.
The Labour Party is clearly not going to come to her rescue either.
I don't believe that the deal that I've heard of so far is in the national interest. It doesn't meet the needs of all parts of Britain. It doesn't give us a security of our trading relationship with Europe in the future through a permanent customs union in which we have a say.
The Prime Minister might sleep a little easier tonight, the deal with Cabinet done. But the price could yet become clear, and as she herself acknowledged, there are more difficult days ahead. Romilly Weeks, News at 10, Westminster.